Well, hello again, everybody. I don't know, I think it's Friday or something like that, but it's been, I don't know, 3 days. I think this is the 4th day since I've been in the garage. Like I told you, I had to go out and do some responsible stuff, clean the gutters, that kind of stuff. Just some general yard work that I've been putting off forever because this thing kind of got in the way. Bikes always do get in the way of me doing, the responsible thing in the yard. Yeah, I got a lot done. It kicked my ass because it was, the last 3 days have been 90 something degrees with 80% humidity. I mean, crazy. You were just drenched the whole time. But it's you got to get it done. It is what it is. It's the only way that I could get out here and work on this without feeling guilty. I also took a ride up to Maine to my friend Brian's place, Summit Spring Water Company. And I'll do a little plug for them. If you ever see Summit Spring or Tourmaline Spring, also they have 2 different waters that come from there. On the shelves of either Hannaford supermarkets or Whole Foods and stuff like that, definitely grab it. It is rated as one of the purest water supplies on the planet. It is let me put these up so you can reflection. It is a epic phenomenon. There's a big giant, well, it's now in a tank, and it's just white sand, and you can just see the water bubbling up and the sand bubbling up, and it's been doing that, recorded time into the early 1700s. The indigenous Indians in the area, used it, all those years back. And it's just been a constant flow of water that's coming up the top of Summit Mountain, which is the highest point in Cumberland County and Maine. And the purity is spectacular, obviously. And so he's been, 20 some odd years he's been bottling water out of there. And it's one of the few water sources on the planet that literally comes out of the ground. It's gravity fed to the bottling plant, no pumps, nothing like that, and it is so pure it can be put directly into the bottle with no treatment. It's a rarity. You ever see it? Check it out. Okay, I just wanted to do my little plug for my buddy. He deserved it. He's worked hard over the years. But what I'm going to do here, I was working on the just experimenting with the motor on the bench back there. You can see, cleaning and brushing and stuff like that. I'll do a little video, which I already did a little video, and of course then I'm reviewing it. And I realized I left the radio on, which I do so many times and lose a lot of footage because I do that because I'm a bonehead. But what I'm going to do, the motor can wait. I want to get all my peripheral stuff on the bike pretty much finished. Next to foot pegs and stuff like that, that'll get in the way. Oh, my bench went down. That'll get in the way when I go to install the motor. These are in very, very rough shape. As you can see, they're pretty rough. And so I'm going to, I got to disassemble them so that I just have the lower leg that I can, work. I got to do a lot of wet sanding. There's a lot of scale buildup and stuff like that. I'll wet sand them down and then put the Scotchbrite wheel to them and get as much done as I can with that. As much material as I can get off. And then I'll move the camera over to my buffing wheel, which you've seen me use before, and work through it. I want it to be a nice mirror finish on them when I'm done. Now that I'm able to fade in and fade out on my videos, I can just reach over and shut the camera off and then fade back into the next step of what I'm doing, because it's just some of the videos were just too long and too boring for you guys to sit there and watch me rub on something for long period of time. Obviously, you know, it's it's like watching paint dry, you know. So I'm going to get this little 10mm bolt at the bottom of these legs, right there, and unscrew that, and all of the existing oil will come out of it. And then there's a bolt that goes up through. I think it's a number 4 or 5 Allen head. And once you get that out of there, which sometimes can be a chore, then you can pop the legs apart. There's a little clip, which I'm not sure if you can see. I doubt you can, but inside there, yeah, you can see it. There's a little metal clip. You pop that out of there. That is what holds the fork seal in. And once you get that bolt out of the bottom, you're able to take the almost like a slide hand, pop, and it'll pop the seal out of the lower leg, and you clean all the stuff, the internals, and get everything buffed up. And then of course when I go to add oil and start doing the reassembly again, I'll film that, and I'll string these all together, so it's seamless. Hopefully, you know, see what happens. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get my 10 mil, get that oil out of here, if there's any at all. You never know. These have been leaking for quite a while, and they're pretty beat up. Let me grab my 10 mil, and I'll be right back. And let me bring my bench up a little bit. I normally do this over in my my bench, but of course I got the engine up there, and I'm too lazy to move that 150 some odd pound frickin' motor out of the way. But hopefully this bottom little nut will come out of there somewhat easy. And I'm gonna turn the camera down so you can see what I'm doing over here. And let me jiggle the camera, because that's what I do here at Goldilocks. Okay. Oh, she broke nice and easy. And there's a little fiber washer at the bottom of that screw also that kind of helps to seal. And you're going to be able to see, oh, look at that black oil. And there wasn't much in there, that's for sure. And there's no color to it at all. Okay, let me just wipe that down a little bit. Slide this out of the way further. I'm going to put that screw back in there so I don't get it all over me if I lean on it. I'm going to show you something else also. There's a little clip, little C clip that goes up in there. It's a pain in the ass, so I already pulled it out, but normally that cap will just pop right out of there. It has an O-ring on it. So I'm going to see if I can get that to pop out of that. Let me get a tool here. And what I'll normally do is I'll give this a couple of pops, and sometimes just the tension of the spring will pop it up, and you got to kind of watch yourself so it doesn't clock you. There it is. You see that? And that's the only reason it came out hard, is because of just crap. But that's a little cap that's got the O-ring on it, and right in the top of that you'll see that little lip on the top. That's where that little C clip will go. Which I'm going to go grab that right now, because I don't want to I want everything together. Okay. And this, that's the little C-clip that'll sit right in that little embossment right there. All right. So this is the, let me get my oil can back over here. See, there's so few little oil in there. Normally it's dripping with oil. But that's your internal spring, for your suspension. This is pretty much the only choice you had back in the day, and of course it's so tiny. But now you can do progressive, so it winds tighter and tighter as it goes down. So the more your bike dives, the stronger the spring gets. And see, now this will slide down and stay there. And let me take that screw back out and see if I can get a little more oil out of it. Bear with me. I know this is not super interesting, but for those of you who just never seen one of these, yeah, there's some more oil there. See one of these taken apart, this will be helpful to you. And you'll see that it's not an overly complicated thing. It's just, you almost have to take a leap of faith and just go for it. And I'm going to put that little screw back in just so that I don't get oil over myself. If I was on the bench over there, I'd have stuff down. Okay, so there is, I think you can see that. That's I think it's a 4 or a 5. And we're going to see if we can get that bad boy out of there. It's a 6mm, so I was wrong. Hopefully, sometimes this will come right out of here. Let me use this as a retention tool. Look at that. Oh, that's so nice. That rarely happens, and usually what will happen, especially on these old ones, it'll spin the internals, and so you can't. Then you have to make a little special tool to get down inside to hold your internals. All right. That's pretty impressive that it came apart that easy. And it's just got a bunch of crap on it. So just a basic little Allen wrench, Allen head bolt. And now I'm going to turn this a little bit. Okay. Well, these don't have the little collar on the bottom like I thought it would. So all that's happening here, let me just take a look-see. This Allen is literally just screwing into the bottom of that leg and holding it to the bottom of the lower fork leg. And so there's your fork seal, and I'm going to pry this little clip out of here. Oop. I should have known better. They always seem to fly away. That's all it is a little retaining clip. And I'm just going to get my little screwdriver. See, I'm draining oil now because it's got nothing to stop the oil coming out of there. I'm just going to set that right there for a second, and I have to get a little screwdriver or something. I'm not worried about destroying this shield because I'm going to be putting new ones in. Bear with me. So all I'm going to do is peel up on this bad boy. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. she's in there good. All right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this in my vise and I'll bring the camera over there so you can see me pry it out of there. Yeah, so I just don't want to stab myself on the handle, which I almost did just now. You with me? Okay, I know you expect the camera to be jiggled, so this is just the normal stuff here. And see if you're seeing that. Okay, let me get my BIS screwdriver. This bad boy's in there. I'm going to have to step in front of you for a little bit. I'm sorry. Well, she's in there. All right, well, I'm not going to battle with it on camera here. I'll get it out of there off camera. But the main thing I wanted to do, let me turn this back around. This is good camera work. My main thing that I wanted to do in this whole thing is be able to get this leg so that I can get all this crustiness off, and I have to get this all polished up. So that's where I'm at, and I'll kind of stop this at this point, and then I'll fade back in so that you can see what I'm doing, and once I start giving it the beans. All right. All right. Let me just get in frame here for a quick second. This is just going to be, I disassembled the front forks, and so now I'm putting the Scotchbrite's ball to it just to kind of get the heavy, stuff on. What I don't normally do, and this is a good trick, is anytime you're doing a side panel, engine case, or anything that's been clear coated, take the time and get some paint stripper. It takes, it'll take about an hour because you gotta put it on there, let it sit and that kind of stuff. But it'll, if you don't, you will end up on the buffing wheel or whatever you're doing, taking a lot of time to burn that clear coat off of there before you get to the metal. So by doing the stripping of it, it'll save you a bunch of time. And so I'm going to spin the camera over. This leg, you can, it looked, well, I showed you in the picture. It was very rough, and with the clear coat is the majority of the bad look to them. So I'm going to spin over. I'm going to put the Scotchbrite ball to it, and then I'll bring you over to the wheel, and you can see the transition. And I'll do some, and I'll kind of fade out and do it back again. But here we go. Let me get over to that. You can see, and I'm going to just go at it. It's going to be noisy, so I can't talk here. Oops, sorry about that, guys. This is doing the initial cut of all residual. Let me get this off of here, and what I'll try to do here, I want to get to the bottom of it, so let me, I'll probably have to readjust the camera so you can see it. Let me spin this a little bit. I'm going to try to get the bottom here. You'll be able to see it go right to brite. You can see all that dust coming off it. That's old oxidation. This actually does a nice, good enough job if you were just kind of in a rush. You could just do it with this. All right. I'm not going to go crazy with it, but you can see how what a difference just that did alone. I'm going to go over there, and actually I'll bring the camera with me. Let me put this over there. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm going to shake the camera around because I know that's what you expect out of my filming. And let me bring this down a little bit so you can see what's happening. So you know this is noisy, so I'm just going to go at it and you can see what's happening. Using white compound. Look at that immediately. See that? That is something. Look at this, so you can, I don't know if you can see the difference. This is where it's hazed. Down here, right up here, from here up, is where the wheel has gone, and it is just beautiful. I know it's hard to see on the camera, I think. It's a lot of, they must have been knocking something or some pretty good dinks in the thing, but overall, isn't it amazing? What I'll do, just a little bit more, and then I'll stop and I'll show you the difference between the two different legs. Okay, let me grab my wipe rag. And just unplug this so you can hear me talk. Okay, let me grab the camera over here. I'm going to shake it around and weave my way through all of my stuff. Let me set these down. Well, of course, my hand touched the camera and it shut off, so I'll just meld this in. But it's obviously, I really hope the light can show this, the night and day between. This has just basically been stripped of paint, and I did a little bit of experimented up there, but see if the light will show it. It's very hard, but I mean, what did that take me? I probably have an hour or two in stripping the paint itself, which probably takes the longest. You saw that was real time with the Scotchbrite ball, and I'm still looking down at me. Then of course you saw me real time on the thing there. Let me get a wipe rag again. Okay. And then one last thing I'm going to show you on camera here is, let me mount this in here with a cauliflower ear. Okay. I'm going to turn this over again so you can see. And there's a finishing touch. Now obviously this is a finer wheel than what's over there. Let me get my compound. And okay, and then you should be able to see a different change. Let me tighten it so we don't spin. There we go. Holy cow. Basically any hazing that's in there from the corse wheel Okay, I'll stop right there and bear with me a second. Get in my chair, I'm spinning so you can see the beauty of me. And let's see here. So, and that's something. And I'll do a little bit more finish up work on it, just a little thing. This little area that's kind of discolored, the dust boot covers all the way down to here. So you won't see any of this. And that's all dinked up because it's just been covered with a piece of rubber and crap. It's been up there all the time. So I don't really go nutty trying to get that off there because the dust boot, like I say, covers down to about here. So you won't see any of that. But isn't that amazing? Between the two. And then of course there was a picture of it earlier before I even touched it with the you know, just from it was prior when I was taking the legs apart. You could see how really scummy they were. That was before I removed the paint, the clear coat. And then it was post clear coat, and then the Scotchbrite ball. Then the wheel over there, which is you can see it's a harsh wheel. It's a coarse wheel, and of course the one I have on here is a fine wheel. Now I have a buried behind there somewhere. I got to dig it back out because I do want to use it. I'll do some finish work on this. Is another bench grinder with a fine and an ultra fine, and that you know, of course I'll do that up, and you'll be able to see the complete changes. But the old guy is starting to run out of steam. I've been out here all day messing around, and yeah, that's just that's just fantastic. You know, of course, it makes the whole front of the bike pop. You know, and then of course I will use an aluminum polish on this, which will actually protect it so it won't oxidize again. You know. I polish it like when I'm polishing the bike. I polish these too, you know. So there you go. Oh, thank you. So yeah, it's all about having patience and taking your time when you're doing this stuff and not being in any big rush. I think you just got to get into the mindset. I'm going to move this over a little bit. There we go. Get into the mindset when you start a restoration that who cares if it takes a month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever. This one's going by a lot faster because I'm sharing it with you guys, and of course it's forcing my ass to get out here every day. Where you know, when I'm doing you know, a restoration, I'll come out in the garage a couple days a week, sometimes 1 day a week. And I'll go riding, I'll, you know, go work down at Freedom Cycle for a day or so, something, you know. But this one, like I say, it's going fast because, you know, I'm videotaping it, and just to be able to keep some interest. You know, who wants to see me do something on this thing, and then a week, 2 weeks later, I do another video. You know, you're not going to get people wanting to follow you along. So that is kind of where I'm at. Tomorrow I'll be doing, you know, finishing the legs. I'll put the camera up as I'm putting the legs back together and filling them with oil. I have to look up the specs. I think if memory serves me right, it's like 245 milliliters or cc's, I'm sorry, of oil, and I'll run. I think normally it runs. I believe they were running 5 weight in this, but because I'm a big guy, I usually run 15, and it just gives it a little bit more dampening. Even at, you know, at 15, it's going to be a spongy thing because, you know, it's just got a light rate spring rate, and so yeah, tomorrow I'll put those together, and also my plan is I'll show you the exhaust pipes. Luckily, nothing's rotted through, but there's some pretty good rust, you know, down on the bottoms where, you know, it never got cleaned. The down pipes, the header pipes itself are in pretty good shape, but it's going to take a lot of Brillo pad type of cleaning on those. I also have, let's see here, Evapor Rust, which, as you know, I love that product. This is a gel rust, remover. And then, of course, the good old-fashioned, you can't go wrong with the old school naval jelly. Works really well. And I'll coat those on there before I go at them with the Brillo pads. And so it'll get a good amount of the hot coarse rust off there, because all that does is it tears up the Brillo pad because it's coarse, you know. That'll take that off of there, and get those pipes all taken care of. I just painted the two foot peg brackets and a couple other little bits that were the last of the stuff I have to paint for the bike. So the front end, front room's done. Yeah, I mean, pretty much most of my, say 90% of the peripheral stuff, non-motor stuff, is addressed, cleaned, painted, that kind of stuff, which is how I like to do it. I like to kind of work on all that stuff. All my nuts and bolts get cleaned, all my chrome gets cleaned, all of that stuff. So I put them in little bins, and it's ready for installation. And then, of course, I go at the frame if it needs to be done, the motor, all the other, the big stuff. But I like to have all my little stuff sit in a little bin, and so when it comes time to start my assembly, it's just tink, 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 you know, fucking putting them on there, and remembering the nuts and bolts, which I only have, of course the bike's not fully together, obviously, just a handful of nuts and bolts. There's a couple of them that got me stymied, but once you start putting shit together, you're going to realize, oh, there it is. There's where the bolt goes. So it's bagging them and labeling them. It's a savior. That's where it's going to, you know, make your life so much easier and take the scary part out of doing one of these things. Sandblasting and painting and rubbing on things is, you know, you don't have to have any mechanical ability to do that. And on the disassembly part, if you take your time and as you take it apart, you put it in bags and label it, again, no brainer. Or, you know, do what I do. I take a video of the bike as I'm taking it apart. Certain things that I know they're going to be, I might not remember that. I'll take a picture or a little videotape of it, and I can just refer to it. You know, because as much as most Japanese bikes are the same, they have all these little nuances that are different between the brands. So yeah. My sister, she told me she bought me a little Bluetooth button that you can clip to your shirt, and so I don't have to be reaching over and shut my phone off. It'll actually shut the phone off for me. Her phone, a highfalutin iPhone 15, you can pause and pick right up where you left off. So I mean, I could be mid-sentence, hit pause, and do it. So if I had the greenbacks, I would definitely be upgrading my iPhone 8. It's almost like a dial phone, for Christ's sakes, to a 15 just to have that capability. But you know, it is what it is. I found that there's a lot steeper of a learning curve to, you know, doing all the video. Obviously setting up cameras while you're getting ready to set things up, trying to get a view for you guys so you can actually see what's happening. I hope that I've done a decent job. I know I've got a lot to learn, and maybe the next build will be better because I'll have learned a lot of things, where to, what things that I didn't add into the videotape or the video of what I was doing that I should have. The next build will be better. The next build after that will even be better. And my editing is getting, I hope you can see that it's getting better, and I'm doing my transitions and my fade-ins and fade-outs. But yeah, it's, I'm just some old zipper head that plays in my garage. I've been doing this all my life, and I never videotaped anything. So the only time we ever used our cell phones for videotaping when me and the boys were on a ride, and we'll do like a little mock interview, hey, how was your ride doing today? That kind of thing, I'd run my GoPro when I was riding, and you know, show it, give a copy to the boys, and that was it. So it's a lot more work than I expected. But I'm going to have to ask you to do the old like and subscribe if possible, if this has been at all entertaining, because you know, it's growing slowly, a lot slower than my sister's, that's for sure. Man, she just her website just went on fire, like 4 or 5 months, and she's at, I don't know, almost 10,000 or 8,000, something like that, subscribers. I think I have what has it been, month and a half or something like that. I think I'm at, I don't know, last time I looked, I think it was 80 something subscribers, which, you know, it is what it is, because I'm gonna videotape these things either way. It doesn't matter, because now that I've started to do it, I like to have that that history, that chronological thing of my build, so I can look back at it when I'm sitting and drooling up my mouth in my chair and I can't get up. I can watch some of the shit that I used to do. But okay, well, that is my story, and I hope you enjoyed it somewhat. And tomorrow, like I say, we'll get back at some of the buffing and reassembly of the legs, and that'll be a pretty cool little thing to learn, because luckily these standard forks are very simple to put back together and work on. So I got a quick mumbling. So okay, thank you very much everybody for sticking with me this long, and we'll be talking at you.